So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to my OnePlus 8 Pro full review. Shoutouts to OnePlus for sending this one out for review. This one starts at $899 US and it goes with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. You can buy this unlocked directly from OnePlus's website. Also, T-Mobile should have this device. Verizon will be carrying the OnePlus 8, but this will work with pretty much all the carriers, and it does have most of the band support you need. 5G on this phone is not the fastest 5G, but it's still pretty quick compared to your standard LTE on many other phones. Now to max this out, you're going to $999 for the 12 gigabyte of RAM, 256 gig storage. So if you want the most premium of this, it's around $1,000 US. Now it is cheaper in India, so if you're over there, definitely a better deal starting at $720, and only goes up a little bit to get the 12 gigabyte of RAM version. Now, my only thoughts on this phone's pricing is that it's no longer a flagship killer in the price point. It's just another killer flagship for a little bit less than your competing devices. Now, this phone does come in Onyx Black, Ultramarine Blue, and Glacial Green, which are all pretty nice colors, but I do prefer the Glacial Green color. But again, if you were expecting a cheap bang for the buck, this is definitely not it anymore. You probably want to go to the smaller OnePlus 8. If you're looking for an amazing value flagship under $1,000, this is going to be hard to overlook if you're looking for a new Android device. So when it comes to the body and the design, taking a look at the OnePlus 8 Pro, you can see that from the top to the bottom, pretty tall display. Also, we do have a narrow side to side. It's not super wide compared to some other phones out there. Now, on the right side, you can see we do have our power button, which I think is in a pretty decent location. It's not too high. I've seen some other phones with higher power button placements. Also, we do have the silent switch that goes between vibrate, ring, and silent. Pretty nice. You don't see that on all other Android devices. In addition, at the top, you can see there's an indentation up there with some antenna lines. And on the left side, we do have our volume rockers, a couple antenna lines there as well. And then you can see at the bottom, we do have ourselves, it does have dual SIM, but dual SIMs isn't working at this current time, at least where I tested it. And we do have the USB-C and speaker grill at the bottom. Now there's also a speaker integrated within the top bezel on the front. And overall, I would say that the back side is one of the favorite parts of this. We do have a matte kind of feel. It is glass, but doesn't really attract fingerprints. The camera bump is a little bit thick though. It will rock on a table and you can definitely see it sticking out. So I definitely would wear a case on this one. Now, OnePlus logo below the camera, OnePlus branding logo at the bottom as well, but no FCC, no extra writing on here, no IMEIs, nothing like that. So pretty clean looking back. In addition, we do have a main 48 megapixel Sony IMX689 sensor. That's pretty good sensor there. We're going to have an f1.78 aperture, so pretty good aperture as well. Going to give us some nice bokeh without even using portrait. We also have an 8 megapixel telephoto camera, a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera, and we also have a color filter camera at 5 megapixels. So overall, I don't really have many complaints with this design. The only thing I have an issue with is that the camera bumps a little bit thick, and also the phone, and you can also see on the front, we do have the punch hole display. Now, for some, they're gonna see this as a step back from the OnePlus 7 Pro. I kind of like the OnePlus 7 Pro's all screen display, but the pop-up camera might worry some as something that could be a mechanical failure in the future. I haven't had many issues with it, but the OnePlus 8 Pro with its whole display is pretty small. You won't really be bothered by this after using this for a couple of days. So the phone overall just feels durable and solid. I think this is one of the best designed phones on the market today, honestly. Display. 6.78-inch QHD Plus Fluid AMOLED display. Here's the thing though, this one has 1 billion colors. Question, is it noticeable? I say yes, very. This phone has extremely punchy color. What's next is that 120 Hertz makes it an incredibly smooth display in my experience. I've also loved this phone's ability to stay in its highest resolution on 120 Hertz, something the S20 series can't even do. I also enjoyed its comfort tone mode, which actually adjusts to the ambient lighting and kind of tweaks it to where it needs to be depending on that lighting. There is also more advanced settings, Vibrant Color Pro, for example, improving contrast on videos, making for a better video experience. My thoughts on this display are honestly, I'm impressed. And I've even seen some amazing displays in my time, but there's two things that really stand out here: incredibly colorful and incredibly smooth. Sharp and the advanced features to tweak it are like the cherry on top. Another area that makes this screen amazing is the MEMC tech, which uses advanced algorithms to smooth out stutters and motion blur and ghosting. And if all that wasn't enough, yes, it supports HDR10+. It's a 10-bit color display, which is something you only see on Pro monitors. So yes, this one is spec'd out beast. Only issue for me is I would have maybe liked a little bit of a flatter display, as I find them a little bit more practical, and this phone is just so large and immersive, you'll just forget about that hole after a couple of days. So yes, the display is A1. It's like the best display I've seen on an Android phone to date. So when it comes to the software, Oxygen OS version 10 coupled with Android 10, which provides for a very clean experience with useful customizations. I really like how this software just kind of gets out of the way. It's pretty minimal, and if you really want to customize it, there's a lot to go ahead and customize it. I find this a super clean version of Android, and also there's a hidden space you can use on this device, pretty neat. And another neat feature is this dual channel network acceleration that allows you to go ahead and switch between Wi-Fi and mobile performance to give you the best download speeds, the best internet performance. So very snappy mobile performance. And speaking of performance, this is an easy section for this device. 865 7nm plus chip, best on the market today. 8 gigs of RAM is enough on this phone, but if you want the 12, you can get even better performance, at least in RAM management. And in addition to that, having 5G, I mean, boss performance here. There's nothing else to say about it. It's just boss performance. And that brings me on to the rear cameras of this phone. Like I say, a quad camera. Now, I find the main sensor on this phone to be incredible. I also find the software for this phone to be pretty easily incredible as well. It's pretty simple to use, not much to learn here. It doesn't overwhelm the user really. Has portrait mode, has video modes, has slow motion, panoramic, time lapse. In addition to that, if you go up to the settings in the right corner at the top, you will see that there are plenty of things you can do, such as change your aspect ratio on this phone, different video resolutions going all the way up to 4K Cine, 60 FPS, definitely plenty there. You can also do regular 4K 60, tripod long exposures, histograms. I mean, the stuff is there if you want to get complex, but the main camera UI itself is pretty easy to use. Also, the wide angle looks pretty darn sharp. In addition to that, the telephoto at 3x is very acceptable. This is the best OnePlus camera ever. Overall results are, I find them pretty colorful, pretty sharp. Some could say over sharpened, but at the same time, the results come out pretty much like where you don't need really any editing to share on social media. And the video definitely pretty good as well. Probably one of the better Android and video I've seen this year. So go ahead now and take a look at some of my samples, and you could judge for yourself what you think of these cameras. The only thing I didn't find that impressive was the color filter camera. I just think that was kind of pointless. It doesn't really change much of a picture. I mean, you could find it useful, but I don't find it any different really than using color filters on other devices. Shots in ultra wide, you can see 48 megapixel ultra wide turns out nice. The standard wide doesn't look much different, but coming in at 3x, let's freeze it there. You can see pretty good detail on that telephoto shot up to 3x. Very nice. Now also right here, we have the standard wide, and we could punch in 3x again, and you could see a pretty good detail on that picture. Now here's a selfie portrait. You can see it does a pretty good job in good lighting. And here again, just a regular selfie. Does a pretty good job in good lighting, but this phone still needs some better video from the front facing camera. You can see it fully zoomed in, lots of grain. So it's almost unusable at that 30x. Now you can see right here about 12 to 16x here on the Willis Tower. Not the best, but what I really appreciated was a super macro mode. Look how close you can get to things with this camera. Pretty relevant for the time. Some Clorox wipes. Look how close we can get into the text on these wipes. Very close on that OnePlus device. Again, a light bulb from my car. You can go ahead, pinch, zoom really close into the super macro mode. And look at this, very close to stuff. Now here's just a regular standard shot. You can see this photo that it gives you is very colorful. So if you like a very colorful, vibrant, saturated photo, you are absolutely going to love the OnePlus. Look at the greens, look at the blues in this picture, just very nice. Here's just another standard wide, and then we can go ultra wide. You can see that they do look pretty similar, so they match up well, the ultra wide and the standard wide. Here's another one. Look at the color on the bridge. This bridge is not that saturated, but these cameras make them look a little bit more saturated. Dynamic range is also pretty good on this camera. Night mode, also decent. I don't think you're going to be super disappointed with it. Again, we can always improve on night mode, but still, nightscape, not bad. This is the rear camera as well. So I think you're going to be pretty happy. This is pitch black, and look at this. It was still able to pull out something out of this night mode camera right here for OnePlus 8 Pro. Okay guys, so here is a front-facing video test of the OnePlus 8 Pro. I am recording with the mask on because, you know, we have to do this right now to stay safe out here, to keep everyone safe. But let me know your thoughts of the OnePlus 8 Pro's front-facing video. I will walk a little bit faster to kind of show you how it does stabilize. And there you go. So give me your thoughts down below. So when it comes to the battery life, 4510 milliamp hour battery will make you think this has the best battery life ever, and it does have some pretty darn good battery life. Getting through a full day, 6 to 7 hours on screen time is not anything to laugh at. It's very good battery life, but it's not the best on the market. There are phones that will outlast this device, but it still is acceptable for all of these specs you're getting on this device. But what's really impressive is how fast this thing charges. I mean, you could literally watch the percentages just go up and up on this phone as you're charging it. It's just so quick, very fast charging. And also with the wireless charging, it's also incredibly quick at 50%, you know, in like 23 minutes or something like that. I mean, it's very quick to wireless charge as well. So even if you do run out of battery, the speed that it's charging at is just really going to make you not even care. And that brings me on to the audio. So external speakers, definitely not the loudest, but they're not horrible either. They're definitely passable for this phone. In addition, no headphone jack, but it does have Dolby Atmos support, Audio 3D, and Audio Zoom as well in video. So some pretty neat audio features on here. Next up is my phone call quality experience. It's been excellent. No issues with phone calls. This has a large range of band support. In addition to that, very good radios in here. This thing sounds great on phone calls, and the speakerphones sound great as well. So you're gonna have no issues there. Some other things I should mention is the vibration motors on here. The haptic feedback is excellent. Definitely improved over prior OnePlus devices. Also, you have the newest Wi-Fi 6 chip, which makes your Wi-Fi super quick. So if you like fast Wi-Fi, you're good to go. And also, this thing has Bluetooth 5.1, the latest Bluetooth standards, which means that connecting headphones will happen before you can blink your eye. Incredibly quick Bluetooth performance. And I also didn't mention this has reverse wireless charging. You can go ahead and charge someone else's device with this phone. So what can be improved here for the OnePlus 8 Pro? Well, I would like to see a flatter panel. This curved panel can accidentally be pressed, which is annoying sometimes on this device. Also, I find it a little bit annoying that I don't have a secure face unlock on this device. For $1,000, I want a secure face unlock on the next OnePlus device. In addition, if there's a way we can flatten that camera bump on the rear, that would be nice as well. It just looks for a cleaner design when there's nothing sticking out of the back. In addition, I think the front-facing camera can be improved. And lastly, the night mode. When we come to nighttime photos, yeah, we do have a night mode and it's pretty good, but that can also be improved. That can always be improved. Also, I would like a dedicated dark mode button in the software. I don't like I have to always go to customization and change the tone. When I want dark mode, I want it scheduled. I want it to do it automatically on this phone. Other than that, it's a pretty great experience. And you see most of my complaints were kind of nitpicks there, because really this is a smooth phone. Software updates are going to come relatively fast, has some of the best specs, and even the camera is great now, which is something you couldn't say about previous OnePlus devices. Battery life is a day long. It charges insanely quick, arguably the best display on the phone, and it's hard to come up with many negatives. Objectively speaking, this is a great phone overall. The only thing is you have to decide, is it worth the price? And that's only a decision you can technically make. But for me, I think when you look at the flagships on the market and you compare everything you're getting in the OnePlus 8 Pro to those flagships, this is still a good value. So let me know your thoughts on the OnePlus 8 Pro. Are you picking one up? And if so, which color? Let us know down below in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to be well, and peace.